Brazil's B3 lists. First OTC options on Hashdex HASH11 crypto ETF. Brazilian exchange operator B3 has registered the first guaranteed over-the-counter flexible option linked to Hashdex's crypto index ETF, HASH11, according to a report from Crypto Slate citing the exchange's filings. The product lets institutional desks write and clear bespoke options on a basket-style crypto ETF inside B3's central counterparty, a piece of market structure that U.S. issuers and trading firms have spent more than a year asking the Securities and Exchange Commission to approve for spot Bitcoin and Ether ETFs. The registration is small in dollar terms, but meaningful in sequencing. Brazil now has a working OTC options venue tied to a regulated crypto index ETF. The U.S., as of May 25, 2026, still does not. A guarantee that changes who can trade. The phrase doing the work here is guaranteed. B3's flexible options sit inside its clearinghouse, so the counterparty risk on each contract is absorbed by the exchange rather than left between the two trading desks. That is the difference between an OTC trade that a bank treasury team can hold on balance sheet and one that requires bilateral collateral agreements, ISDA documentation, and credit checks on every counterparty. For pension funds, insurers, and asset managers in Brazil, that distinction decides whether the product is usable at all. A guaranteed contract clears the internal mandate hurdle. A purely bilateral one usually does not. HASH11 is the underlying. It is a Hashdex-managed ETF that tracks a NASDAQ crypto index basket weighted across Bitcoin, Ether, and a rotating set of large-cap altcoins. It is traded on B3 since 2021 and is one of the few crypto index ETFs in the world that holds spot exposure across multiple tokens inside a single listed wrapper. The piece U.S. issuers still cannot get spot Bitcoin and Ether ETFs launched in the U.S. in January and July 2024, respectively. Listed options on those ETFs followed later in 2024 on CBOE, NASDAQ, and NYSE American. What still does not exist is a guaranteed OTC options market for those same ETFs cleared through a U.S. central counterparty. Issuers, including BlackRock, Fidelity, and Grayscale, have argued in public letters and industry roundtables that without OTC clearing, large institutional positions cannot be hedged at size without moving the screen. A pension fund trying to write covered calls against a 400 milliliters IBIT position runs into liquidity walls on the listed strikes. An OTC contract, cleared through the OCC or a similar body, would let that desk negotiate the exact strike, expiry, and size with a dealer, and then push the trade into the clearinghouse. That structure exists for SPY, QQQ, and most listed equity ETFs. It does not yet exist for spot crypto ETFs in the U.S. Brazil's regulatory route was shorter. The Comissão de Valores Mobiliários, Brazil's securities regulator, treats listed crypto ETFs as regular ETFs for clearing purposes once they pass the initial listing review. HASH11 cleared that bar in 2021. Extending B3's existing flexible options framework to cover HASH11 required exchange-level registration rather than a new SEC-equivalent rulemaking. The contrast with the U.S. matters. The SEC has approved listed options on spot Bitcoin ETFs, but has not signed off on the OCC's proposal to extend portfolio margin treatment or guaranteed OTC clearing to those products. Each step has required its own comment period. Brazil moved faster because its regulatory architecture did not require a separate sign-off for the OTC piece. That is a sequencing advantage, not a permanent moat. But for now, a desk that wants to write a 6-month $1.10 strike call on a crypto basket and clear it through a major exchange can do that in Sao Paulo. It cannot do it in New York. Market context Bitcoin trades at $77,293 as of May 25, 2026, up 0.7% on the day, with the broader market in a neutral 40 reading on CoinMarketCap's Fear and Greed Index. Ether sits at $201, down 0.9%. The Brazil announcement landed during a quiet weekend tape and has not moved spot prices, but it is the kind of plumbing story that compounds slowly. More institutional venues, more hedging tools, more sticky capital. The immediate read for traders is narrow. The HASH11 OTC market will be Brazilian real denominated, cleared in Brazil, and primarily used by Brazilian institutions. It does not directly affect U.S. ETF flows or spot ETF rotation patterns. The longer read is structural. Every jurisdiction that builds a working OTC crypto ETF market before the U.S. adds pressure on the SEC to clear the equivalent product domestically. Brazil is now on that list alongside Hong Kong, which approved spot crypto ETFs in 2024 and has been steadily extending derivatives access since.